So when I heard this book was exactly like Castaway meets Apollo 13, I decided to go back and rewatch those movies, and I have to say, this book is Castaway meets Apollo 13. So The Martian is written by Andy Weir, not exactly sure how to pronounce it, and it's a science fiction novel about a man named Mark Watney, an astronaut who is left stranded on the planet Mars after his crew thinks he's dead and they are forced to evacuate because of a dust storm. And armed with only the skills in botany and engineering, ingenuity, and a sense of humor, he has to figure out a way to survive and get back home. And honestly, this is one of the greatest books I've ever read in my entire life. Not only does this book succeed in making a very tense survival storyline to it, but it also has a storyline that's funny, a storyline that's interesting, one that can actually teach you something from a science fiction book, and one that's so original even though it borrows from so many different concepts. Now when the book starts out, you can tell that Mark Watney isn't super optimistic about this, as any astronaut would be if he was stranded on Mars by himself. But soon after, Mark Watney finds the will to live on this planet Mars, and he has to try and figure out how to survive and get back to Earth, and he does it in such a creative way that I haven't seen in many books. Not only is he really clever, using his smarts and his creativity to try and make makeshift things in order to survive, but he's also super funny. He has a great sense of humor in a land where he's by himself and he is most likely going to die. If you're not on the edge of your seat with tension when you turn the page, you're probably busting a gut laughing because this book is so funny and he uses the humor very, very well, making it one that fits in with the storyline but also doesn't overshadow it. With around half the novel being written by first-person Mark Watney observations on Mars, the other half is a third-person view of the Earth and how NASA is reacting to everything that's happened, with the death of Mark Watney and how they soon come to realize, oh my god, this guy is actually still alive, how are we going to get him home? The book handles it in a way that I actually think NASA would react and the entire world would react to a guy being stranded on Mars. The ideas they have are realistic, they're not cheesy, everything about this book works through storyline. And also, for a book about a guy being stranded on Mars, I found it to be one of the most realistic science fiction books I've read in a really long time. They don't make this book about a guy who's stranded on Mars and then Martians come after him and he has to fight them to the death. It's about a guy who's by himself on Mars and he has to engineer his way to safety, and it's incredible. This is actually a science fiction book where I think that kids could actually learn something from it if they take the time and read it very, very carefully. It tells this process of how he can make water on the planet, how he can grow food on this planet. Overall, this book not only is a really great read, but it also can be a great learning experience. Now, the book is a little bit convenient at times, I won't deny that, but the storyline and the storytelling throughout is told in such a great way that it really just works with the story and you forget about how some points are convenient. So overall, not only is the storytelling and the storyline overall really great, but this book is super smart. It's one of the smartest books I've ever read in my entire life. Every single character in this book is developed very, very well. You like each one. None of them have like a really bad side to them. It's a science fiction book with a premise that could be realistic in the near future, and overall this book is absolutely fantastic. For a first-time author, Andy Weir did an amazing job. This is one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. The only ones that can really stack up to it for me are things like Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card, which I also think you should check out. Definitely check this book out. I got this book for $10. I went to Barnes & Noble and picked it up just because of the small price it had, and it turned out to be a great book. Definitely check it out. This book definitely gets 5 stars. I'm really looking forward to the movie. I love Ridley Scott and I love Matt Damon. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to see it this weekend. If you guys have read The Martian, let me know below what you think about it and how it ranks on your book scale. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next time.